yes, some boys do want to have sex, but majority of the boys actually want connection. And I remember this woman, she was a few years older than me, when I told her that there's this guy who was like hitting on me and he probably wants sex. And she looked me in the eyes and was like, he may not just want sex. Like, you're really cool to be with. And yeah, sex may be part of it, but he also could want something else. Mm-hmm. And it was so important because before that, I just always thought, like, if a guy was hitting on me, they're after something. And I'm not saying like that is not true, but that is not just it.
It's not the whole part of the truth.
Correct.
It's not that it's not that. But then we also kind of flipped it around a little bit for her, which was like, well, what part of this stereotype are you playing into? Are you kind of buying this thing that, as I've watched Disney movies and the Disney princess, and I want a Prince Charming to come and sweep me off my feet, or as a girl, I'm supposed to want a deeper connection. I'm supposed to want love more than sex. Not that you don't, but how much of that is really your authentic self? If you just want to get laid and move on, and get laid and move on, I think you're missing part of your own authentic self, because that's, like I said, there's a dehumanizing aspect in that lack of connection. And so if I'm going to say that I think men are being socialized such that we kind of told that we should want that, we go into the locker room and joke about this hot girl we banged last night or whatever, that's fine. We can look at that. But then the other side of that is, what is the socialization that we've also said is better? Particularly, we tell our young women, like, be modest, find connection, wait to have sex for someone you love.
Don't want sex, don't ask for sex, it's
right. And now you're also showing up with something that's not authentic. So, but now you have a guy showing up with porn culture, with pop culture, with all these things saying, be tough, don't show your sensitivity, fuck her and move on or whatever. And then you have girls saying, oh, I just want Prince Charming. I want someone who's going to love me and care for me, someone who's going to connect with me. Like, maybe that's not actually authentically you. Maybe what's authentically you, regardless of your gender, but let's kind of flip this on its head. Why can't you just be a girl and just want to get laid and be like, that was super fun. Like, thank you so much for showing up and getting me off. And that was wonderful. And I don't know if I'll ever see you again, but thank you.
But girls are never taught to think that way.
I remember the show. It was called Fishbowl. It's a Spanish or a South American show. It's about a woman who's a high school therapist. And in the very first episode, this boy and this girl get busted. She's giving him a blowjob in the bathroom. And now they're in trouble and they have to go see the therapist. And the therapist sits there and the girl comes in and she's, like, oh my gosh, the shame. I got caught. I was giving a guy a blowjob in the bathroom. I'm such a bad person or whatever, right? And the therapist sits her down and says, so did he reciprocate? And it was kind of like this moment of like, wait, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, if you gave him a blowjob, did he eat you out? It's got to be fair, right? And so I've always kind of loved that, because I feel like sometimes it's so easy and our culture is like, oh, a blowjob is easy. Well, okay, maybe. But if he's going to get pleasure, what is the problem with you getting pleasure? And I would even go back, Esther Perel said something in Mating in Captivity, which is one of the things that it can also be really hard for women to let go of, is we have this culture, particularly in, Christian or Judeo-Christian culture, which is you shouldn't get something good unless you've earned it. Mm. And so the feeling of good sex, like, what do I have to do in order to earn the right to have this pleasure? And it affects both men and women the same, except that women carry it a little bit differently because tend to be, the feminine energy or whatever, or whether this is cultural or what, but being a caretaker. And so therefore I need to make sure everyone else is taken care of before I can take care of myself. And in sex and sexual pleasure, that's not the case. So like, if you're going to go and sleep with somebody, make sure you enjoy it, and if you're finding that you're getting together with guys and they're having a good time and they're getting off, but you don't feel satisfied, well, then take that responsibility to say, you know what? I will definitely make you satisfied. And first, you are going to satisfy me. So get to work, young man.
Hallelujah.